Kay, it's good to talk to you, man. It's been a minute. Sir, I just want to ask first and foremost, how you been? How you been? It's been a few
Tired,
weeks since
bro.
I've talked to you.
Tired. Too much traveling. My body hurts. My wallet hurts. It all hurts. I'm tired, bro.
The wallet, man, the wallet.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well,
Absolutely. While it's like, yo, leave me alone. I'll be all
yeah,
right. Give me
like
some time.
the wallet's like, hey, stay off deals.gg and just chill for a minute and just stay at home,
Indeed.
man. But that's good.
Indeed.
You're well rested. I'm assuming now. You're
Oh yeah.
getting back in the fold. I saw you on Web Dave's show the other night. I
Mm-hmm.
think
Mm-hmm.
yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
right? Last night you were
Yeah,
there.
last night.
I
Yeah. It's
I
it's funny. He had asked me to be there before I even went to Germany. I'm like, oh yeah, no big deal. And then the day comes and the wife is like, we have this trip to like an hour from here in another city. I'm like, oh damn. So I had to like rush back to get
oh
to get on
to,
the show.
but
But
you,
it worked out.
you
It
made it.
worked out. It
Yeah,
was good.
I didn't
Yeah.
listen to the whole thing, but I did see that you were on there with Hargeet and Web Dave. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, first thing I want to start off because I know you've been gone, but there has been a plethora of gaming news. Obviously, we
Mm-hmm.
know that you were away at attending Gamescom a
Mm-hmm.
few weeks back, and you saw a lot of good stuff that I'm dying to ask you about a lot of particular things. You've seen, I don't know if you've caught up to all the gaming news, but I mean, there's been
Still haven't caught up.
still haven't
There's
caught
still
up.
videos I want to watch. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. But yeah,
there's
I'm getting
been
there.
the demise of Xbox all over again, as you know. There's been the passing up of IPs. There's been just all this things, and all this time I've just been sitting back and enjoying my handheld gaming.
You've been
My
eating your popcorn, enjoying the
it,
conversation.
it's so good, man. But we're officially back. Just want to welcome everyone to episode 47 that we're calling games because that's what it's all
Indeed.
about, people. And Kate got his hands on a lot of games, and we're gonna cover it tonight. And first, Kate, I want to start off with this. Did you happen? You know the company Retroid Pocket,
Yeah,
correct?
of course,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, Retroid Pocket,
So
great,
I don't
great
know.
company.
I don't know if you happen to catch this announcement while you were gone, but they actually revealed the
Hmm.
Retroid Pocket Mini OLED edition that they're going to be
Wow,
bringing out. So
these guys are like really, really like speaking that Ioneo energy right now. I could have sworn it's
yeah,
an Ioneo device. Look
yeah,
at that.
it caught me off guard. I don't think I've seen
So
kind of the community
theirs was the
buzzing.
first handheld I've ever bought. This was the
Yep.
Retroid Pocket 2.
Okay.
Old school. Is it Retroid Pocket 2? Let me make sure here. Yeah, RP2, the Retroid Pocket 2. Not the 2 Plus. This is back when Retroid was a little bit on the let's just say wild west side. There were two Android operating systems, one that would let you just download stuff from some app store,
Mhm.
bunch of emulators and stuff, and you were just like, is this legal? I have no idea. Let's move on,
Well,
right?
well, yeah.
But
Listen. We have no idea how that got on there.
yes,
It came installed.
it came pre-installed. Yes,
Right.
this is back when they were a little bit like, unfeeling in their capabilities, but it looks like they hit that video again. It looks like they've really like changed their
Yeah,
body
absolutely.
style.
So
That's awesome.
so this device, right? The Retroid
I did
Pocket
not see
4,
this. This is awesome.
there's
Mhm.
two versions that the Retroid Pocket came out. The 4 came out with. It was a normal model and it was a pro model, and this kind of is going head to head with the AYN Odin and
It looks like it,
the
yeah.
Odin 2, right? So the cool thing is that this device is a little bit cheaper. It's the regular one, because this is going to be the OLED one. This is the one that they did kind of like a sneak peek, and it got me super
Okay.
excited. Because the form factor just looks more like a
How big
kind
is
of like
that?
a
Let me look
Vita.
that up.
Yeah, I think it's
Retroid Pocket
5.5.
Mini. Okay.
Yeah, look it up. So that came out of nowhere, right? And then the cool thing
Yeah.
about it is that the device is like centered to be kind of a competitor against the AYN Odin
Mhm.
Pro, and it is a little bit weaker in its chipset, but it does get the job done if you're looking for that retro feel. So it's definitely one, and it's coming with that OLED screen. I think it's gonna do really well because there's a lot of hype behind it. And I know that you have recently repurposed your old phone to be kind of an emulation device, Android emulation device, but maybe this is
So
something.
about that,
Uh-oh.
about that,
Oh, what
right?
happened?
So about that, what happened? What happens is
Uh-oh.
like so I have family, and you know, when I went to Germany, I first went to the Netherlands to go see my family that lives in the Netherlands, and then I moved. I drove to Germany, right? It's like they smell it in the air when you buy a new phone, and they're like, so you had the S21 Ultra, right? And I'm just like, uh-huh. Well, you know, your brother, sisters, cousins, uncle's mom, you know, could use a
There,
phone. So
there it
yeah,
is.
needless to say, I don't have that phone anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, listen. You're doing a good deed for someone else that
Mm-hmm.
can use a phone for their everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's time for you to start looking for that Android handheld dedicated device, and this
I'm
is
looking for one. Yeah,
okay.
this is exciting. This is
Look this
exciting.
up.
Yeah.
Look this up. So I
Yeah.
wanted to kind of touch base with you there because I know that you have been looking to dip your toes into the Android side of the house. So you know
And this
this
thing ranges from about 90 to 150 bucks depending.
it
Bad. Not bad.
depends,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know.
Not bad at all. Okay. Still
So
stays within that good realm. I will say I'm like looking at the pictures of it now. I would like the black one. If
yeah,
you're gonna give me a smaller screen, I
I
want the
agree.
screen where the screen starts and where the actual plastic end begins to kind of
Yeah,
blend, so it looks bigger. Because if otherwise the screen looks too small, you know what I mean?
yeah. No,
But we'll see as this thing goes along. I might investigate one of these
I
things. You know?
know exactly what you're talking about, and let me tell you, for emulation, like all the way up
Mm-hmm.
to PS1, I find
Okay.
that even PS2 stuff. I'm gonna be honest
Mm-hmm.
with you, really upresing it to 1080p, it does the job. It gets the job done on a smaller screen compared to the bigger
Yeah.
screen where things are kind of more blown up. So for
Sure.
emulation, believe it or not, even though that we are advocates for bigger screens, for the emulation side of the house, I'm still a fan of the smaller screens, to be honest
Smaller
with you.
screen. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Okay.
I like that. There's something about like the nature of the 4:3 aspect ratio
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
just keeps its original. I guess that's the way the game was intended. Those older games, so kind
Yeah.
of putting widescreen hacks on them and stuff. Sometimes it takes away
Yeah.
from.
You're right. You're
You
right.
know what I'm
Yep.
trying to say, right?
Yep.
You know
I
what I'm
hear
trying to
you.
say.
I hear you. Absolutely. And those widescreen hacks don't all look great, and they don't all work great. So to be able to like natively just kind of keep it to the size that it was meant is always better.
Right.
Absolutely. I don't disagree. Yep.
Right. So, okay, let me get into the first because I have kind of like a plethora of things I want to get
Please,
through
let's
with
go.
you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, man.
folks, this is the first time I talked to Kane in about 2 weeks. I have held off.
Absolutely. Yeah. We haven't
I
spoken.
I have held off from calling him because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna save to ask him about this because there's times that I'll just randomly call Kay during the weeks and I'll just be like, hey, Kay, did you see this? And we'll start venting
Mm-hmm.
about it. We'll start talking. I'm like, nope, let's save it all for the show. Okay, so
This is good. Yeah.
first time that you're all gonna hear these conversations. All right, so okay,
Mm-hmm.
first bullet point I have. I know you probably heard this, but you've been away. So
Mm-hmm.
Deadpool Wolverine crosses over $1 billion, man. What do you think about that?
I think that there is a God, and his name is Ryan Reynolds.
Well, he's Marvel Jesus. Remember that.
He is Marvel Jesus. Indeed, he is. He is Marvel Jesus, and he's proven it, right? And I gotta be honest, like I'm now excited to see what this means.
Right.
Like I'm excited to see what this means because this is Marvel we're talking about. This is Disney we're talking about, right? When something goes well, when they move in a certain direction, right? All of a sudden, hey, we're not gonna just let it sit. We're now gonna full bore. We're gonna make sure you remember how much you love that thing until eventually we all hate it again because they do it too many times. So we'll see if all of a sudden Ryan Reynolds becomes the director that or replaces Feige or something. Who knows? Like you never know what's gonna happen with these guys. You know what I'm saying?
Very interesting. And the thing about that movie is, and no spoiler talk here, right? We're not going to ruin it for
Mhm.
anybody that hasn't watched, which I'm
Oh,
sure you have.
you're not
Okay.
gonna ruin it for the people, even though Disney themselves are
I know,
all
right?
ruining it everywhere you go.
Yeah,
Like
all
it's
over.
terrible.
It
Yeah.
was all over Twitter. But
Mm-hmm.
for anyone out there that still hasn't watched this movie for whatever reason, look, it's your statutes of limitations are coming up. Okay,
Oh
so
yeah.
it's coming up. But what that movie does, and this is something that you told me coming straight out of the movie when I spoke to you, what it does for the
We talked
Fox
about it. Yes.
Marvel
Yes.
universe is that it
Mm-hmm.
makes it matter again. And
Yep.
that is huge because we haven't had an official on the real episode to talk about this, but this is something that
Mm-hmm.
I've been holding on to.
Mm-hmm.
Look, whether those movies are great, horrible, past their time, a movie of their time, whatever the case may be, they're important because they are the building blocks to get us to where
Yep.
the
Yep.
MCU is, today and in its heyday
Absolutely.
of the golden area of
Absolutely.
of
It
Infinity
makes you
War and
feel
Endgame.
like all the old Marvel stuff, the old Fox stuff you watched, like all that homework you've done, they now
Yep.
tip their cap to you and they go, "See, good job, man. Good
Yep.
job. You
Yep.
did that thing." You know what I mean?
Yes.
I was so happy walking out of that thing, like, because I'm the moron who's watched every single one of those movies. I actually own all of them, so now I
Right.
kind of feel like I need to watch them all over again and like rekindle
And
that.
not only
Yeah.
that, but it actually adds something to it because now you know that there is a place for these characters. There's
Mm-hmm.
actually they matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
They actually exist in these worlds. So the important thing is that it's not just like, all right, well, remember that Punisher movie that I saw a long time ago? It doesn't really no, everything
It
matters.
matters. Yeah, yeah.
It matters.
It all stitches together and it all
Yep.
like culminates with this movie and hopefully more, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
making as much money as it has, and of course this is like one of the first rated R movies to do that,
Yeah, I
so
think
that also means that hopefully next rated R movies, like they will take more chances with rated R movies now. It's
it
exciting.
gives them
It's really
it gives
awesome.
them I hope that it gives them a lot of confidence in that the audience this is something that I always like to tell people. The
Mm-hmm.
audience speaks, Kay, and when the audience responses, like their response is with their money because something is good and something is working, that like they really need to pay attention to. You know what? We didn't insult the audience intelligence. They understood everything we were trying to do with this movie, and
Yeah.
they were trying to do
Yeah.
so much, and it worked. It all came together so that sometimes, when these, whether it's a video game or a movie or a comic or whatever that they're trying to put together, sometimes there's risk involved, and I understand that for businesses. They're like, I don't know if this is going to work. This is a little too ambitious or a little bit too wacky or whatever the case may be, but hopefully
Mm-hmm.
stuff like this gives them kind of like, you know what, we trust you guys, we trust the creatives, let's see your vision through and let's try to see what we can do here. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk to you about, Kay, because it did cross a billion, and that did cross my mind to tell you because that's big, man. And you know what?
Yeah.
That's huge, especially for Marvel. The way they've been lacking in billion-dollar movies lately, I'm sure that they're very happy with the performance. Second thing, Kay, and this one is something that I saw you talk about on GCP
Mm-hmm.
this past weekend. I've been on a Team Ninja Koei Tecmo just binge lately. Okay, I
Yep.
ran through the Ninja Gaiden trilogy in these past
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks since we've spoken. I've
Mm-hmm.
run through Neo 2. I actually
Okay.
beat that just yesterday. Okay,
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
and now I started working on Neo 1. Okay, so the conversation that you brought up on
Mm-hmm.
Saturday that I really want to ask you about, let's
The
talk about
slander
that
that I'm throwing out
Phantom.
there.
Yeah, no, and we'll get into it because you did say some things that we have spoken about before, and I think it's
Yep.
very important here in this conversation. Okay, so let me set the table, right? I know that you were at Gamescom. First, Kate, before we even get to the type of gameplay and all that good stuff, just tell me about the game, Phantom Blade Zero. How was it, sir? How did it feel? I
Yeah.
know that you said that you're super excited coming out of there.
I really am.
Is it
Yeah.
what I am hoping for here?
If you remember back before we had the so-called Soulsborne time period, right?
Yeah.
You would if you remember those fondly, this will be reminiscent for you, right? It seems like, yes, there with the Soulsborne genre comes certain tropes, right? Comes certain not requirements, but certain benchmarks that they put in place that makes you go blueprint, sure.
Yeah.
That makes you go, okay, I see what you're doing there. People will recall resting at points of grace, and
Mm-hmm.
drinking from the flask to rekindle your health during certain time periods when you need it. Certain
Enemies
touchstones.
respawning,
That's right.
you having to level up by collecting either souls or stones or
Exactly.
something. Yep.
Exactly. Right. Those touch points still exist and have existed, and people really, that's part and parcel of the Soulsborne genre, right? But I will contend, and I think you agree with me, that a lot of those were built up from other games that came before them. And I would actually contend that Team Ninja had a lot of that energy. Not necessarily those tropes necessarily, but hard knocks games, action games that that demanded a lot of you, but also gave a lot to you.
Yeah.
Right? That's that, and I said that on the show. That was the key point of me not necessarily vibing with the Soulsborne genre of today, right? Those games, the action games, the Ninja Gaiden games of the time, and I'm not talking about OG Ninja Gaiden because there's a place for that as well, right? I'm not talking about 2D side-scrolling Ninja Gaiden. I'm talking about Xbox OG Ninja Gaiden. I'm talking about that time frame, Ninja Gaiden Black, and all of those that have come before them, right? The reason why I could vibe with them, the reason why I really loved them is you may not beat that game because it's difficult. There's like a boss comes to mind who's on a horse. He used to kick your ass. Oh yeah. My God. Like, yes. But the reason why you felt able and capable was that they empowered you from jump, right?
That's right.
You started the world even before you got all the extra stuff you got. You were made to feel capable. So if you work at it and you keep grinding at whatever boss or whatever level you're trying to get, you'll get there. Why? Because you are one capable mother effer, right? And that's how you start. You are a bad ninja. You're out there. You're murking fools left and right. The Soulsborne world, Soulsborne games. What's the one that's very parry heavy?
Oh, you're talking about Sekiro.
Sekiro notwithstanding, because Sekiro you could also tell that they veered more into that action heavy side, right? And you could, the only reason why that one to me was a little bit off was you weren't that capable, but as long as you learned the parry, then you were, right?
Yeah.
They needed to teach you the lesson of the parry, and it seems like that whole entire game was teaching you that lesson of the parry, because God forbid if you don't know how to do that parry, it doesn't matter what else you got, you ain't winning this game, right?
Right.
It was about the parry. But the other games, the Team Ninja games, you were a capable dude. You had tools at your disposal. They're jumping all over the place. You're jumping all over the place. They're ninjas. They can do a what do you call it? They can take their sword, do like a training move, and then all of a sudden chop your head off in one shot. You could do the same thing, right?
Yep.
All those things. You could really, really
hone in.
Dynamite. Exactly.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I got killed a bunch of times.
It was hard. It was hard, no doubt. But every time you died, you were like, all right, I got something for you. Because you know that it's you who aren't capable of traversing that divide, but you have the tools in order to do it. And I've always, and this is a me problem, let me be clear, because I know a lot of people in my chat, a lot of people probably watching this, a lot of people love the Soulsborne style, and they see nothing wrong with it, with how that mechanic works and how those worlds work. For me, they start you off weak, and then they build you up to get strong. And I get that, but that part is always disconnected with me, right? I want to be capable from jump and somehow still get more capable as you throw more difficult enemies at me. That's fine. And that all brings me to Phantom Blade Zero, which I contend gives you exactly that energy, right? You start the world with a dude who is liquid death. Like you a badass, you walking through, like there's, even though obviously, you need to learn more, you need to figure things out, but walking from jump in that world, and let me be clear, it could be possibly that we just thrown into the world at the later stage, and that's the reason why we have such capabilities. But I don't think so, because they even give you a tutorial at the beginning, and then they threw you right into it, And from the tutorial, it seemed like you had all the tools you needed, right? I feel like that's what this whole thing has been missing for me.
Yep.
So when I got a chance to play it, and you know, that's what I was able to do. There were a lot of there are apps and stuff you can download, and you can find an ability to speak to developers and schedule appointments and stuff. One of the lucky things I was able to do was to have an appointment with the development team for Phantom Blade Zero, right? And it was one of my last meetings. And at first I was like, oh, I don't know if I should do it, whatever, because all my meetings was geared towards a certain way, and this was a complete different location than where I was supposed to go. And Aaron, shout out to Aaron, Swedish Aaron, great member of our community, who was also there taking interviews. Too. Yeah, he was like, "Shut up, fool! You got to go do this thing. It's really good." Yeah. So I'm like, "Okay."
And I'm glad you did. I'm super glad you did, because this was on top of my list. This and another game that I want to ask you about.
I gotta tell you, this is not. I didn't expect this to be so good. I didn't expect it for me to enjoy this thing so much. But I gotta tell you, man, like, it is fantastic. I walked out of that thing with stars in my eyes. A bunch of people were waiting around the block trying to play it, so they really mean mugged me as I walked by, because I had an appointment, so I could just kind of skip the line and get in front of them. Let me show you a bit of small footage that they've allowed me to bring with them, and this is not footage from me. This is capture from the Phantom Blade Zero demo that I got to play as well.
And just to be clear, this is launching on PS5 and PC, supposedly, right, on the same day?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, and not even supposedly. It definitely is, because this is not one of those potential money hat situations. Okay. Because it actually, based on some research that I did, they did take a grant from the Epic grants. I forget the name of the program, but Epic helps fund some of these games. So it's definitely coming to the Epic Game Store, like 100%. Right? Okay. It's one of those requirements. Yeah, we'll help you fund your game, but you gotta make sure your game is available to us day one. So, you know, it will be on PlayStation, right? And we're not sure when it'll come to Xbox. I hope it will come at some point. But in the meantime, it'll be on PlayStation, and it will be on Epic, and I think almost likely Steam, right? But yes, this game is about the parry and the dodge. And the reason why I like this so much is because both parry and dodge are not just generous, but they're really, really, really well honed, right? I will tell you that there's both a hard mode and a normal mode, and I tried both. And the only difference I could tell between the hard mode and the normal mode is that normal mode, you know, let's say your power, your hard, your empowered strike takes like 20% of the boss or 20% of your enemy. If you're in hard mode, it'll take 10%. Now you need to hit him again, right? Okay. Whereas if you're in normal mode, the amount of damage you're able to do to your bosses or to others, they're able to do to you as well, right? And all you're basically doing, like, you have regular strikes on face button strikes, right? Low strikes and hard strikes, and then on the triggers you have one that is for parry and the other that is for dodge.
What's the yellow bar that I see going down under your life? What's that yellow bar?
That is parry. That is not parry. That is stamina. And on these guys, it is how much of their guard they have. So like as you're hitting them with strikes, you'll see that will go down because they're blocking a lot. See?
Okay.
They're blocking a lot.
So here's my question, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you. Here's my question.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Because this is the big differentiator from the Neo 2 that I just finished playing through.
Yeah.
All right, and I put a good almost 40 hours into it. So one of the things that I see you doing here, and your stamina is not going down when you attack, is there no stamina when you're attacking? Because that is the big differentiator of why I am not a fan of the Souls-like games. So do you have a stamina bar in order to swing?
You don't have a stamina bar. You don't. You do have a meter that goes down if you're blocking too much.
That's fine.
Right? If you're blocking too much, there is a bar that will go down. Yes. Yep. But you can like flip around, jump around. You're not losing stamina in that way.
Great.
Yes.
You see, and that's what you were talking about before, that from running from playing through the three Ninja Gaidens, right? The
Hmm.
action oriented games to where Souls like became the new standard now of
Hmm.
what people consider now in their game design. The mistake that people made, I think that, and from the message I'm getting to, that this kind of gives you back, is exactly what you're saying, that if you are playing this character, which I don't know who his name is, I don't know if they gave you any information on his backstory or anything like that,
You
you
see,
you
and
want to
that's the
be
fun part.
you want to be a
That
badass. You
that is the interesting part of it, John. Like, I'm Mr. Story. They barely gave you a story. They just threw you in here. And
okay.
I still had a great time. Like, I
Yeah,
still had a great time.
and if you remember, look, I really doubt that anyone, hey, what's going on? I really doubt that anyone's going to remember any of the Ninja Gaiden stories, okay? But the
But they
bottom
had
line
great
is that,
stories, actually. They did.
but they did, but you just want to
Hmm.
go back and you just wanted to kill some ninjas. You just wanted to slay some
True.
demons,
True.
okay?
True.
Because the gameplay was so tight and
Hmm.
just the game was so much fun. And that's
Yeah.
the thing that we've talked about before. Again, not this is yes, we are the graybeards. We understand that we want our games back how they used to be. That's not what this is about. It's just
Mm.
that so many people have just tried to just milk this Souls like thing that we kind of forgot about our action games.
Mm.
And it's nice
True.
to know that these developers in the East are taking advantage of that need in the
Yeah.
market, and they're making some pretty cool stuff. Look at Black
Yep.
Myth Wukong just came out. Look at this. There's a
So
couple
let me
of
let
other
me let me
games.
let me hit you with some slander. This
Yeah,
is
go
what I
ahead.
was talking about with slander. I say this is better than Black Myth Wukong. I'm
Ooh,
sorry.
okay. Hey,
And I've
hey.
played both. And yes, admittedly, maybe it's I didn't get the full aspects of this one compared to the other one. Compared to maybe spend some more time, I might change my mind. But like, I've played Black Myth for a while now. I've actually beaten two bosses. I think I've beaten two bosses. I've beaten the wolf boss. I had so much more fun with this game.
Okay.
You're just so much more empowered in this
Yeah.
game. You see this boss you're looking at right now?
Yep.
Like, this was boss number 4, the big boss, when I played my demo, and there was a bit of a bug. So after he killed me once, I couldn't go back to actually try him again. But like, I got this guy down to almost like 20% of his life first try, because I had figured out how to block and parry well. The dodge. It has this mechanic where when you dodge, how, I don't know if you played Black Myth, but you know how in Black Myth, when you dodge just right, you see a shadow of what the monkey was before, and
I
haven't
haven't played it because
Okay.
I'm waiting for the game to get on a discount, on a deep
Sure,
discount.
understood. So if you block, or if you parry or move right at the right moment, you see basically a ghost of yourself
Okay.
as you move. So then they're still trying to strike that ghost, and you're behind them, and you can hit, right? This one does that as well, but the difference is it automatically leans into a counter. So like, it's almost like he vibrates and then moves out the way, but at the right moment. So it's just like it triggers an animation that is this badass, like you're behind him and you're just going to town.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're like with more power, like, and you have just as much agency as he does, right? So like his little thing there, you see how that little thing he threw in the air, if you're not
Yep.
careful, it sits on top of your head, and at like 2 seconds later, your head's off, game over.
Oh, I could
Like,
decapitate you in one.
Oh, yeah,
It could
right off the
one-shot
bat.
you. Okay.
one shot, you're done. But like,
Okay.
I was still able to go in and really do some damage to this guy, and I'd never even gotten at it before. I'd never even played the game before. I was like, it's all about the taking the tutorial seriously and all of that. It is a very empowering game. I had a lot of fun with it. I really
Nice.
did. I can't wait to have it come on PC. And I see you, Lucius. He said he did check, and it is part of Sony's China Joy project, which is a new project they're doing. It's one of those, we are the what do you call it? We are the market leader in that way, so we can basically pick and choose which ones we think we want to elevate. And they have a few China Joy projects. I think Black Myth is also part of that as well. So they're gonna get I think they help fund it, and they get some exclusivity periods, things like that. So not only will it be on PC in the form of Epic, and I'm almost positive it's also going to be on Steam, but it's obviously also going to be on PlayStation because they all help fund
Right.
the
And
project.
what are we looking at here? A 2025 game?
They say 2025. I was hoping it would be sooner because, yeah, I want the Black Myth Wukong Phantom Blade Zero comparisons to be sooner rather than later. Because I think it'll be an interesting comparison. Yeah.
So it's good to know that we got one good action game coming up in 2025 potentially, and I hope that with the just popularity of Black Myth Wukong, how well it's sold in the East, and it did pick up a lot of traction here home. I hope that people are paying attention and they kind of like it. You don't need to get away 100% from Souls-like, but just give the player back a little bit more of just that feeling of just being a badass, and it not being so punishing because I know that the Souls-like community is going to say get good and put the time in. It's not about that. You Metal. Can you imagine Metal Gear? Can you imagine Metal Gear Rising? Okay, can you imagine that game being Souls-like? It wouldn't be fun.
Yeah.
No, you want to be a badass cyborg.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
So,
but it's not even about necessarily the Soulsborne formula. I want them to add their own flavor to the mix a bit more. Right? Yeah. Add more flavor. We know where you're drawing from. We know how fun. We know what that genre has established. Add more of your mix into that gumbo, if you will. Add something interesting that not moves it forward necessarily, but puts its own separate twist on it. And what I can tell is Phantom Blade Zero has taken the Soulsborne lessons because they do have the flask and they do have certain places that you rest, right? But once you beat people, they don't come back. There is no rejuvenating of the people you've beaten. So that's one thing. You can definitely see that they took a Sekiro homage to some of the gameplay elements. And I would even contend that Team Ninja will bow low on this one because they also took something from them as well, right? It's good to incorporate different styles and not continuously follow hook, line, and sinker to what is now known as the Soulsborne genre, right? Add some more into it. So I think they've been very successful here.
Okay. So I wanted to talk to you about that because I heard you mention it this weekend, and I just needed to know more information on it, especially that I'm running through Neo 1 now. And Team Ninja, man, listen, when it comes to combat, just like Call of Duty's the GOAT right now in shooting mechanics, Team Ninja's the GOAT when it comes to combat mechanics. No one can touch them. Okay, that's just my opinion. All right, so another point I want to talk to you about, because this is something that I also mentioned in our DM, and we kind of went back and forth on it a little bit. Okay, I'm finding myself nowadays to be really drawn to what the eastern side of the world is doing in game development. I think that for a plethora of reasons, I'm just vibing more. I'm more excited for their games, for their creativity that they're bringing to the space more than what our Western counterparts are doing. Not to say that there isn't good stuff coming out of home, because there is, but it's just I feel like, if I don't know, there's just an extra spice there. You know what I'm saying? For me personally. Did you see anything else at Gamescom coming out from the east side that you, just like Phantom Blade Zero, man, that you saw and you were really floored and impressed? Because there you got a lot of good stuff cooking over there, man.
So I will say I spent a lot of time in the indie booths. So that they're like, when you just an understanding of what it looks like. They have 10 halls, 10 big like monster halls. You can spend one day just like running around one hall, and then the next day running. There's just so much to see, and 2 of the 10 halls are material halls, like physical halls. You could just buy merch, like 2 merch halls, right? And then another hall is just for card games.
And what do they have? Hey, what do they have? They have shirts and memorabilia, or what is it?
Everything. Bro, I put some videos up. I need to still put more videos up, actually. That's where you can find your 5-foot statue of Superman that really looks like Henry Cavill, right? You can find, you can find, like, if you wanted to buy crazy expensive deep, intricate statues, that's where you can find them. That's where you can find, you know, some of the stuff you get in like deluxe edition games and stuff. Some of them are
Your
available there,
Funko Pops, all that stuff.
or crazy amounts of Funko Pops and all the cool, interesting merch. Like it's just
Retro
all
games?
that geek, sir.
Yep.
So I walk into the indie booth, the indie hall, right? And they are having a tournament. And I'm like, they're having a tournament? Like there's just a bunch of people. There's scorecards, Tetris tournament. And not only are they having a Tetris tournament, they got CRTs out. They got the old school NES broken out with the cup. I'm like, I'm home. Thank you very much. It was awesome. It was awesome. And like everywhere you look, there's the stuff that is old, the stuff that you remember fondly are literally fresh being played as if they use them every day.
Let me ask you
the
this.
craziest, oldest things are what were on display in there.
Let me ask you this, because I've seen a couple of people kind of say this, right? And you tell me if this is correct or if they're exaggerating, because you know how people are. Mm-hmm. While you were there, right? And you're surrounded by all these people that are just happy to be just there and just be just part of the culture. Mm-hmm. Okay, how is the energy compared to when like you see things on social media? Is it completely night and day?
It is hilarious. It's funny you mentioned that. It is really funny you mentioned that because I kind of got into that. I got into that right at the jump of my whole experience when Keeley, because I went to opening night live when Keeley announced that Indiana Jones was coming to PlayStation 5 as well, right?
Yep.
Right. And I know yes, I know people have a problem with how it was announced, and I have no pushback on any of that, right? You know, why it was announced there, how it was announced, all that stuff. But I will tell you, and by the way, Gamescom had about 500,000 people.
Wow.
Last year, it was 350,000.
That's a sea of humanity in there, man.
Bro, it was a sea of humans. Like, it's just nuts. If I show you some of the videos, it's just a sea of humans. Okay. Wow. And the excitement, and not necessarily that opening night live, but like I said, every place there are halls, right? And like hall 8 or hall 9 is split between Ubisoft and Capcom and all these, and each of them have these huge elaborate, like, you know, displays, and they have booths where you can go and interface with the representatives, and if there's a game they want you to see, they'll have like a bunch of stations that you can go line up and go play. There's the Bandai Namco booth had a huge, like, I would say skyscraper like Goku balloon they blew up, you know, and around him is, because they have a new DBZ game coming out. The line is just twisting around and around for all the people that want to go play it. And on the other side, they had like what do you call it? They had Little Nightmares. They had Unknown 9. They had and you could just go and wait in line and play all these things. Xbox's booth was not a booth; it was a whole hall, right? And in that hall, all these others were also represented. So you can go to Bandai Namco, just go to their booth. You can go to Ubisoft, go to their booth. You can go all these other places, like different halls, and go to their booth and spend some time there and play some of their games and all that. Or you can just stay in Hall 7, I think it was, which was Microsoft's booth, right? And Microsoft's booth also had Capcom and Bandai Namco and Ubisoft. And it's like you could just spend your whole day at the Microsoft booth because they had representation from all the other booths available there as well, right? So, like, the idea of how it translated to social media versus how it translated to I would say the common man, if you will. I see it now. It felt more like, and you've heard Everborn Saga in his hip hop diss track, you know, oh, your services are no longer needed.
Yeah.
I kind of, and I don't mean it in that kind of way, but I get it.
It clicked.
Yeah. It's not that, and I'm not saying that's what they're doing necessarily, but that I kind of feel like, and this is just me taking it based on the tea leaves that I've been reading and seeing what I'm seeing, right? Mm-hmm. If you are them, if you are like Xbox, right, and you've cultivated your fan base and you love them and they love you and it's all this, and they feel like there's a close-knit environment, when you do right, they are super championing you, right? But in their eyes, when you're doing wrong, they're the snipers in the window ready to take your head off,
Hmm.
right? All the while, there are 500,000 people that are just like, I love these games. This is great. You
Yep.
know, I spoke to a bunch of German people after we were all said and done. We were waiting for friends to come by, and I saw people talking. So I just chatted with them. Hey, how did you think of the show? This and that. Oh, Forza Horizon was amazing. Never played it before. Because remember, this is the Netherlands and this is Germany, where Xbox basically treated them like second class citizens. Their
Yep.
consoles didn't come out until a year after it had come everywhere else, and by then, Sony had become a stronghold in all these places. So like I brought my little brother with me. He didn't even remember that Xbox was a thing. By the
Wow.
end of the first day though, he's like, "Yo, I need to buy Xboxes for my barbershops." He owns barbershops. He's like, "Yo, this thing is amazing." He spent most of his day playing freaking Marvel Rivals and playing all these other
That
things.
reminds me of the trip to South Korea when I would ask,
Yeah.
the drivers of the
Mm-hmm.
Ubers and and the people in the PC shops that I would go to and hang out and just talk to them. I would literally ask the question, so what's the presence of Xbox like in this country?
Yeah.
Like, is that something that you guys know about? They were all like, "What's that? No, like,
Exactly.
what's Game
Yeah.
Pass? What is this? What
Yeah.
is that? No idea."
But see, here's the thing though. That's why I find it interesting, because in a world where we don't have social media, or the world isn't you're not able to get the messages from across the world, right?
Yeah.
They are able to speak different things to different crowds, right? Uh people complain. I hear a lot of people complain that Xbox does not market correctly. You come to Gamescom, you'll change your mind, right?
Mhm.
The walls are plastered with Game Pass, like plastered. The G is about the size of me, like it's huge billboards, right? And every booth has the logo and all of this, because there they can actually grow, right? They are starting at sub-zero, so they can grow, and they've been changing hearts and minds there, little by little by little, based on all the money they're spending, right? Whereas here, it's like we already know the console market is saturated. You're either stealing from PlayStation because they already have all of them, or you're adding more. You're having to add different endpoints, that being cloud or PC, in order to get more people, because people that love consoles have already bought consoles, right? So I kind of, once this whole thing was happening and I was at Gamescom, I kind of clicked with me, like, yeah, they'll forego the hardcore for the normals, because the normals are just excited to play,
Well,
right?
yeah,
I was
and not
talking to
only
the
that,
German
but
guys, like I was saying, and they were like, "Hey, Forza Horizon, maybe that'll come to my PlayStation 5. I
but
can't wait to play that."
how
And
about this
people
aspect of it?
here would think that's like slanderous, right?
No, but
But
how
they
about
just want to play.
how about this aspect of it? How about, and we've talked about it before,
Mm-hmm.
the person that's playing Candy Crush and dropping $20 a month or a
Yeah,
week or whatever, they don't care what announcements you make about Indiana
exactly,
Jones. They don't care
exactly.
when you announce it, why
Yeah,
you announced it the way you did.
yeah,
They're not gonna come after you on Twitter. They're not gonna
no,
say. They're not
yeah,
gonna feel butthurt. They don't care. And the thing is
yeah.
that it's something that you've said that has really kind of come true this generation, because it's literally the way that it's progressed for myself. So I'm speaking for myself. Once that these companies become transactional to you, kind of the
Mm-hmm.
same way that an Ubisoft is, the same way that an EA is, that's all. Like, every single one of these companies needs to just be that, a transactional company. That, okay, you give me something good, I will give you money. You don't give me something good, I'm gonna turn the page and look elsewhere.
That
And
has
and and
always been my move, right?
and the,
Always
and
been
the
my
thing
move.
is that,
Yeah.
from the aspect, right, from the platform. And I know we kind of got away from the question I originally asked you,
Oh no,
which we're
yeah,
going to
no,
circle
no, it's
back
all
to
good.
it,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
this kind of blends in with each other, some stuff I want to talk to you about. But
yeah.
the just in the three companies, when you see the three companies, Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox, and you see what they're doing, I have criticisms for all three, right?
Mm-hmm.
The one that I feel most passionate about speaking is always Xbox, because it is the one that I have always been kind of in the mix with. It's the one that I considered my primary platform of play until this generation, that things have changed, that now I find Steam probably to be my number one place to go play. So
Mhm.
I think that the thing is that when you start having these conversations and you just want and you just start questioning some of the moves that they make and some of the decisions that they make, the bottom line is that just like the Everborn diss track says,
The distract.
if you feel like your
Yeah.
services are not being, like if your voice is not being heard as a consumer, like if a company's moving in ways that you're not happy with, no problem. Hey, what is the competitor doing? Hey, what is this
Yeah.
other company doing? And just shift on over there until and find a little bit of everyone
Yeah.
that can kind of get you in
So
what you need.
one last bit of like thought process that has kind of crystallized all this for me, right? People forget. Most folks don't recall this, or they it gets muddled in the message, but these console vendors aren't console sellers. Yes, they sell you consoles, but that's not what they're there for. That's not what they've ever been there for. It's always been a means to an end. The end being selling you games.
Software.
That's
Yeah.
what they are. They are software vendors, because the bits, right? The bits just equal profit. After you got into a certain amount, development costs get tallied up, and then afterwards you get revenue and you get profit, right? And you can continue selling those digital bits infinitely because they're digital bits, right? Physical hardware costs actual physical money, and every time you buy it, it costs them money, unless they revise it to a point where now, like Nintendo, like,
Yep.
now it's basically peanuts on the dollar, and they're charging you $200 for it. Then they're making profit there as well. But remember, Nintendo has always been a game and a toy company, so they can actually
And
justify
Nintendo
that as well.
proves one thing. Nintendo
Mm.
proves one thing, especially something that us as gamers and us as enthusiasts of the industry need to really take a look at and consider. Nintendo, their message is clear. It's all about the games. It's not about the
Well, yeah,
performance.
yeah.
It's
Well,
not
they
about the
realized that
frames.
early on, right? They
Right.
were now they don't speak to me that way, but they have
Right.
been right from a business perspective that way, which is, if you de-emphasize the technology you use, you can kind of keep your technology, and as long as your developers are skilled enough to keep the creative juices flowing, you can keep reiterating on that same hardware over and over and over and over and over again. Same hardware, different games. Who cares if it's 3D? It's awesome gameplay. Who cares if the story is verbose? It's awesome gameplay. Maybe we'll give you a story here, maybe we won't give you a story there. At the end of the day, if all your priority is games, right? And remember, that's what I think Microsoft is doing right now as well. They are foregoing the hardcore that comes with certain requirements
It seems
in
that way.
favor of game lovers,
Yeah.
right?
It seems
Sure,
like this
we may
conversation
lose.
it
Mhm.
seems like this conversation is reminiscent to one that
Yeah.
I wasn't a part of, but I saw a lot of diehard Nintendo fans
Mhm.
when the transition from the GameCube to the Wii happened. Okay, a lot of forums had these same conversations where there was
Yes,
a lot of
yes, yes,
people
yes.
hurt that Nintendo
Yes.
was getting away from competing head to head with PlayStation
Yes.
and Xbox.
And
And
they
there
were
were
right.
people saying, I can't believe that they're scared of Microsoft, a brand new
Mhm.
company, when they
Mhm.
have been here. I can't believe that they have sold less consoles than Xbox, that they're
Yeah.
a new player to the market, etc., etc.
They
I've
knew what they were
heard
doing.
all these things before.
They knew what they were doing. And I mean, they would have lost me anyway, because I'm a speeds and feeds guy. I'm a
Nope.
newest, latest, best. But that's why I opt for PC, right? But in a world where you want to keep reiterating and you want to keep your money flowing, and you still want to give the gamer what they want, right? If you want to give the gamer what they want, and what they want is games,
Yeah.
then you need to de-emphasize the technology,
I
because
think
the
so.
technology will always move forward, and then those people who are hardcore will expect more from you, which then costs you a lot of money. That's when
yes, and the
Sony
profit
and
margin
Microsoft
just
are.
yeah, just the profit margin just shrinks. So
Yeah.
okay, finish answering the question. If you saw anything
Mm.
coming out from the East that interested you
I
in
saw a
Gamescom, and then
bunch of stuff, man.
I'm gonna move on to one more question. On
Yeah, I would say so. So you'll see more and more from me in the indie space, because I'm actually talking to a couple of folks that I spoke with that I got to see their games and stuff. Um, um, you'll get a lot more indie from me than you will the Phantom Blade Zero energy from me, because while Phantom Blade Zero blew my wig back, and Expedition 33 I loved, and all these big AAA
That
games that
looked really
really
good.
did well.
They dropped
Yeah.
a trailer. That
I
looked good.
opted it looked amazing, right?
Yep.
But I opted to go into the trenches with the indies, because that's where you'll see some very interesting things, and they may not be really big, right? They may come and go and drop like be a drop in the bucket, and nobody will even notice it, because the big indies take the big AAA's take up most of the air, right? So yes, did I see East developed games that are really doing interesting things? I did. There are lots of them, but I cannot give you one right now that will take that will even stand close to something like Phantom Blade Zero, because it really is in a league of its own right now.
Nice.
It really is.
And that just goes to show, right? Like the point that like I'm trying to make, and that I'm kind of feeling right now, a game like Expedition 33, right?
Mhm.
A game like Phantom Blade Zero, the games that talk more to us, are like old school, old heads, are
Mhm.
those single player, games with stories and stuff, and it's a completely different world than, for example, Concord that just released and bombed on
Mhm.
PlayStation, unfortunately for them. But it you can see the difference in like what the big companies are doing, like trying to just hit grand slams with some games like Concord, and then you have these smaller, hungrier teams like saying, look, we're going to be producing these games because there's a need for them. So they are
Yeah.
filling right now, and let me tell you something, they're benefiting from it, because look
Oh
at Black
yeah.
Myth
Yeah.
Wukong. They are
Mhm.
benefited from it because there's a
Yep.
need, I feel,
Yep.
in that space. So okay, let me let
Absolutely
me
right.
let me ask you this, because we're coming off the
Mhm.
conversation we were just having
Sure.
about
Sure. Yeah.
Xbox and their moves and kind of all this stuff. Let me ask you this, man, and this is something that I need to update you on, because you don't even know
Mm.
this. But so I got rid of my Series X a few weeks back. Okay,
You got rid of your Series X.
I did.
Wow.
I did.
Okay.
And my reasoning for it is because from
Uh huh.
all of my devices, I take inventory every few
Mhm.
months, right? And I say, all right, what do I have here? What am I planning on getting in the future? Like
Mhm.
what moves am I making here? So I said, you know what? How am I using Xbox as a console nowadays? When have I gotten the most use out of it in the last year? Very
Mhm.
simple. It is the Series S with the up spec screen. Take that with me if I go work off site, or just open it in front like a little laptop. You have it as well, right? The up spec
Yeah.
screen, so
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
how nice and
Yep.
fresh it is. So I've
Yep. Those
already
over there
I've
too.
already I'm already like I'm already adjusting my
Mhm.
playstyle with the Xbox platform, right? To be one of a handheld on the go nature. I don't need it to
So
be.
you dissed your Series X in favor of the S.
Well, no, I already had the S, but
No, I know, but now you're gonna prioritize playing the S over the
yes,
X.
when I want to play on Xbox and go to my 500 plus library that I have accumulated
Yeah, yeah.
over
Because
my
that was the
history
first
with
question I was gonna
Xbox.
ask. If I
Yeah,
thought you completely dissed it, I'm like, what are you gonna do with your library?
no,
But
no,
you're
no, no, no.
keeping it.
I
You're just
haven't
playing on
come.
the S. I
I'm just
got you.
playing on the S because
Hmm.
again, it's all that I need for
Yeah.
what I feel that Xbox is giving me, right? And when I
Okay.
want to
Okay.
play the beefier games, I'll play on my 4080, okay? Because we have access to Game Pass there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Absolutely. Yep.
I have seen the change go, right? This generation, which
Hmm.
is incredible. If you would have told me this in 2020, I would have laughed you out of the room. But this is
Mm.
where we're at right now with myself, and I kind of want to just ask you some questions about how kind of like you see this and where you're
Hmm.
at as a gamer, right? Me, I'm getting obviously the PlayStation 5 is still a must because they get exclusives, they get their first party library. I accompany that with the PSVR 2. I accompany that with the PS Portal. I think that they have their own structure of gaming where they need it to be. My Switch has not gotten any gameplay. I'm kind of seeing what I do about the Switch OLED that I have. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. I don't know where I'm at with Nintendo at the moment. Especially knowing that it just plays better on PC. We'll just leave it there.
Okay.
As Xbox, I've already told you. I'm kind of playing with the Series S, and I'm more than satisfied with it for kind of the games and kind of like the experience that I want out of it, and of course the
Hmm.
4080 and the PC handhelds that we have. So, okay, for you, right? Xbox, the ecosystem, and this is what I feel that people get upset about. And the thing is, instead of getting upset about it, maybe you just need to look at it how you're interacting with these products and with these ecosystems, right? And with these
Hmm.
platforms. I I believe you have a Series S and a Series X, right? Just
Yep.
like I had myself.
Indeed.
Let's
Yeah.
be honest here. Let's be
Hmm.
honest here.
Oh yeah, of
If
course.
if if your Series X was to bite the dust, what would you be missing? You wouldn't be missing anything.
Let's see. No, 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 no. So you have to understand, right? I use my S and X differently. Okay. So I have a 4090 right here. I have a 3080 in this machine right here, right? Two very capable gaming devices, right? I have the Series X and I have the Series S, and I
Yep.
have the old the One X player, right?
That's number one
I
right
have
now for you, by
played,
the way.
yes, I have played more games on this than anything in the last 3 months, something
Mm.
like that. Why? Because I'm on the go, right? When I was in Germany and Black Myth Wukong Unlocked, it was right here that I got to play it. Whenever all these demos came out that I was playing, that was coming to me via the various indie developers that I met, I would go on Steam and I'd get them right here. I've been playing Jodin Slayer. I think I put a little bit of a clip out there. Awesome vampire survivor like that has the I wouldn't call it the skin, but looks like Diablo 4, right? Right here, because it's easy to just pick up and go, real quick sessions, and this is what I've been doing here, right? But when I'm in Germany, I was playing my series. I was playing this, playing Minecraft, and hanging out with my kids, who are either playing it on mostly on their tablets, right? More often than not, whenever we're playing, and I play with a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and the indoctrination is deep in my household, so we got to play all the co-op games and all this, right? What ends up happening is my son will take the Series S or the X, and my daughter will take the other, and then I'll be on this device or on my PC, and we'll all play together, right? That is our way of split screen, because we don't want to do split screen. Split screen ends up just taking up half of your screen, right? We don't want that. So
Yep.
so there'll be my son with the Series S with the X screen on, right? My daughter will be on the TV and the OLED with the Xbox itself, headphones, they all have headphones on, and I'll be in my office or I'll be upstairs with one of these guys and we'll play. What tends to happen with my Xbox is it tends to be part and parcel of my multiplayer, play with my family, play with the kids kind of mode, right?
Mhm.
Uh, the reason why I will always have these consoles is because guess what? I have a Wii U. I have an OG Wii. I have the OG NES, SNES. I have a GameCube. I'm still on the hunt for a Dreamcast, the black Dreamcast. I don't want the white one. I had the white one before, but I want a black
That's a
Dreamcast.
Sega
I'm
Sports one.
That's right. Yeah,
Yep.
that came that came with the Sega Sports disc. I have a fat George Foreman grill PS3 that still
Hmm.
works. Right. I have the PS4 Pro that's in here. I am a collector of these devices, and during the time I collect them, I don't just like leave them there to collect dust. I'll update them. I'll put SSDs on them. I may unlock their background security so that now I can run Linux on it, or I can play older games, or I can play games at like 60 frames that weren't supposed to play at 60 frames in the first place. Stuff like that, right? So
Bloodborne.
for me, there will always be a use and a need for having that old school hardware around. I have four guitars, my drums, and I'm still looking for the pianos for Rock Band, right? Like I have all that hardware, right? So I understand that if you are a person who was like, look, this device is for my gaming needs and it fills my gaming needs, and now you're finding that, hey, I have this other device that fulfills the same need that you may no longer look at the console the same way, right? And shout out to MJ Dark. I see you in the chat. He's got many a handheld, and if you talk to him about why you have 5 or 6 different handhelds at any given time, he'll tell you, well, this is for my indies, this is for my AAAs, this is when I'm on the couch, this is when I'm, right? Because all of them have pluses and minuses that make it
that's the
comfortable to him.
enthusiast. That's the enthusiast
Exactly.
talk. But the thing
Well,
is, right?
I guess
and I
the
am
point
trying
I'm
to make a
making with
point.
it.
Yeah.
No, I see what you mean. The point I'm trying to make with my bringing up MJ Dark is, when you have these devices, you as a user find your own use cases for them. And if you don't, and you look around and you think that, it's not, like, ask me where my ally is. I got rid of it because it couldn't fulfill a specific need for me, that, you know, and as such, it was gotten rid of, and it found a beautiful home with a gentleman who loved it, and he still talks highly of it to this very day, right? So I hear what you're saying, right? If you're using this device as your mainstay, and this is how you interface with the ecosystem, and then you turn around and find that, oh, now I find myself no longer really using it for what it was meant to be used for, and you're not me who likes to tinker or whatever, there's nothing wrong with saying, okay, you know what? I will interface with the Xbox ecosystem my own way. And they don't have a problem with you doing that, because they want ecosystems wherever the hell you happen to interface with, you know.
Well, here's the point I'm trying to make, right? Because everybody obviously is going to do what they're going to do. You are obviously going to keep your devices that you buy because you just want to collect them. I'm not like that. You know, through the generations come and I upgrade and I get rid of my old stuff.
You have comic books that have binders on them since when you were a child. You see, this is the difference.
And I totally get it. I totally get where you're coming from. 100%. For me, it's a little bit different. If something newer comes out, I don't mind trading it in or getting rid of it or selling the thing that I need.
Bro, talk about traded in. That is the thing I regret to this very day. I traded in my Dreamcast for OG Xbox One, like my original Xbox. Yes,
I know.
And
but
to this day, I'm in pain that I got rid of that thing because I want it back now.
Hold on a second, because look, I don't know your situation back then, but me, when I've traded in stuff, it's because there's been a need. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Oh no, absolutely. I needed to do that. I needed to do that in order to get the next thing. But now that I'm a guy who's a collector who enjoys that, I'm like, damn it, I wish I'd kept that thing, because that'd be great right now.
Well, this is the point I'm trying to make to you, right? Because when the generation started in 2020, I was so enamored with the idea of the Xbox Series vision of the X, of what it was supposed to do, right, for this generation. And we've had many conversations and we've had many ups and downs with talking about their marketing and their messaging and all that good stuff, right? But where I'm at here with Xbox, the ecosystem that I think that they're moving towards, by the way, which is why I bring this up and why I feel satisfied having a Series S when I want to interact with Xbox as a platform, is that I think that they're paying attention to that, especially with the move to portable that we all think that they're going to make. Why? Because the moment that they do that, here's the thing, right, that I've come to realize. The moment that they do that and they stop trying to be the alternative to PlayStation is when I think Xbox is going to take off in their own lane and be exactly where they need to be for themselves as a business in the gaming industry. This is where I believe that the problem that Xbox has always had, and this is coming from someone that has been on the Xbox platform for 20 years plus, okay, since the OG Xbox. It's always been the comparison, the differentiator to PlayStation. Always, since day one. They were made to compete.
Yeah, they were there to be the alternative to what was the established, which is PlayStation.
Exactly. Okay, always. So what's happening now that I'm seeing is that it looks like the move. Okay, it's the move that I kind of see that I kind of forecast coming here is that the Series S obviously is selling better than the Series X. Why? Because of the price and because of the barrier to entry. It's not as high as the Series X is, right? Now, Here's the thing that's going to get some people mad. And I was one of those people in 2020. If you would have talked to me back then, I would have told you, no, they can't do this. I need my power. I need them to keep on making the world's most powerful console for me, all that good stuff. It's not working. So the thing is that when you see a device like the Series S, when I have a 4080, which I know not everybody can do that, not everybody can afford and go build themselves an expensive PC to take care of their high-end gaming. So they're like, no, we want our Xbox Series X to be that device that gets me, you know, the highest level of gaming that I can afford, right? I understand those conversations, but the thing is that when I'm in a privileged position just like you are, when we sit back and we look at all these gaming devices, whether we're on a handheld, whether we're on our Series S, X, whatever the case may be, PS5, whatever. Okay. The gaming, when you just really concentrate on what you're doing, and that's playing the games, all of these devices do it well, okay? They do it good enough.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely
They do it good enough, man. And the thing is that I think that sometimes we get so enamored in the conversations of comparing and saying, oh, but I need this, but I need that, and we forget that it's all about the games. And that's what I wanted to name the show. It's all about the games, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. And I have found that through the Series S and the up-spec screen, that's enough for me to interact with Xbox as a platform right now.
Absolutely.
And when Hellblade 2 releases and I want the melt my face visuals,
you can jump on your PC. That's right. When what do you call it? When Starfield was the talk of the town, I was not okay playing it at 30 frames. I wasn't, right? If you are, that's fine. I have no issues with you. There's a reason I bought I built a pretty beefy machine, because I want that bleeding edge, and I know that the PC will always offer me that, right? Absolutely, right? And believe it or not, you're doing it the right way, John. Like, I have a feeling that some people think that by doing this, you're betraying Microsoft or you're betraying the Xbox. You're absolutely not. There's a reason they released them on that console as well as on that PC platform, right? There's a 100% reason they do that, because they're finally bringing in the platform that they should have brought in and should have put their arms around a long time ago, which is their PC platform. Guess who makes Windows, right? So no matter how and let me be clear, if you want the most powerful console in the world, you can still have that from Xbox. Now, just because it's the most powerful console in the world does not mean that every game will use it. They are also not the market leader.
It's not going to be the most prioritized console in the world.
This is the point. You get it. You absolutely get it. Yes, it is the most powerful console in the world. But if it's not the most prioritized console in the world, then what does it matter, right? Because the Switch can be the weakest console in the world and still make all the monies because it's the most prioritized console in the world, if they so choose to do so, right?
So check this out.
It doesn't really matter where you game as long as you get what you need out of it.
And here's the thing, right? Don't get me wrong. I'll still slander Xbox any day of the week. Okay, because that's just what we do.
You do you, man. You do you, sir.
That's just what we do, and you guys know me, especially in the DM. I will slander anyone. It doesn't matter what what you name your company. It doesn't matter if you're PlayStation, Nintendo. If I feel like you're doing something
does
wrong,
matter. If you call it ASUS, then you won't slander them. But that's
there you go. So with that said, right? This is something that has happened in the last. It's been building. It's been building with Xbox and kind of like their grip on me as a gamer that slowly has kind of left me this generation, right? Because then it started with the Steam Deck, giving the Steam Deck the opportunity, like we know, and then we have our PC show now and all that good stuff, right? And my transition over now to Steam being my kind of primary platform and all that. I am more than satisfied with the Xbox platform just being on my Series S device. Hey, I'll go on there.
But your Xbox platform isn't on your Series S device, right?
No, but
the Series S is the console, But if something crazy and amazing comes out right now, if Call of Duty 6 is out next week,
There
which
you
the
go.
demo was out, what are
There
you
you go.
playing it on? You're playing it on your 4080, but you're also logging into Xbox in order
There
to
you
do
go.
so, even though it's on your
That-
4080.
That's a great
So
point.
there you go. They got you. You know.
So the thing is that just these, and just like in real life, when you set these expectations, the
Mhm.
problem is that you're always gonna just be let down, right? So the problem
See,
is,
but this fits right into what I've been trying to say, right? I've said this at the beginning of the show. They are not trying to sell you hardware; they're trying to sell you software. And you, John Wolf, are perfect for them because you bring your own hardware to the game, so you're not costing them anything, and you're still part of their subscription model. So you're getting what you want; they're getting what they want from you. It's
Right.
perfect, right? That's exactly what
So-
they want.
and we got a 199 super chat. K, you want to read it?
Of course.
Oh, go ahead.
I will read it. Yes. Mr. MJ Dark with a 199 super chat. What's up, John? He says, John, take a knife for Jesus.
John will take a knife for Jesus and grenades.
And grenades. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. He absolutely will, because they are providing him the thing he wants most.
For now.
You know what I'm saying? For now.
For now.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So
Yes.
for now.
No, but honestly, I think it's great. I think it's great that you've transitioned out of the, like, there are those who enjoy their consoles, and there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing at all wrong with that, right? The problem I have is those who enjoy their consoles and expect to go drag racing with it like it's a freaking, like it's like, you know what I'm saying? I hope you understand what I'm saying,
Yes.
right? And I'm slanderous with it sometimes. I say console players determining generations is like deciding what heated seats on a Honda Civic. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's come down to y'all. So now you're talking, and
Well,
I'm being facetious, obviously, right?
Well,
But in those waters where the tip of the spear is, where the edge cases are, where you can do so much, that's PC. That always has been PC. And if you are so enamored with the speeds and feeds and you want to be on the cutting edge, then there's got to be you got to get a PC, right? You just have to.
yeah.
But if you're cool with just the convenience, because obviously on a PC you deal with stuff, right? Let me tell you real quick what I dealt with Black Myth Wukong. Right, we all know that the Intel variant, the Intel CPUs are having issues. They're causing bugs and all that, right?
Yep.
I thought I had the same issue, which I think I possibly do, right? Because they have E-cores that need to be turned off and all this other stuff. So I've been playing Black Myth on this guy, no issue, for some time now. I come home, I'm like, I'm gonna play it on the 4090. Let's go. I turned it on. As soon as I get it to like caching shaders, it goes, you're out of memory, and it crashes over and over and over and over. So I go in, I update the BIOS, make it to the latest version and all of this. Still the same issue. Long story short, had to right click on the executable of the game and go into compatibility mode to go to Windows 8 in order for it to load up properly. These are the things you don't deal with when you're on console, right? You'll be locked to a certain profile. Maybe you'll be locked to 30 frames or whatever. But when you hit play, guess what? It plays.
Yep.
Right? So you gotta see what's important for you. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But after I put it there, I'm running at 144 frames per second. Liquid death with ray tracing on, the whole nine. You get what you know, this and that, you know, memory leak issues and all of this. Yes. Yep. It happens on the PC side versus the console. You know?
Oh, you're
so
right.
It's one of those things.
It's trade-offs. Anything you look at, it's trade-offs. So, Mash, thank
Real
you
quick,
so much. Yes.
Thank you, Mash. Appreciate you, brother. He always here, always so generous, and he's on many other shows just as generous. We really appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the generosity. We appreciate you. And of course, MJ Dark with another $2 super chat saying, "You guys gonna talk about what am I talking about? Oh, about the Ioneer Coon at Best Buy. You mean the Ioneer racist? Yeah, we'll talk about the Ioneer racist.
Worst name of all handhelds. All right.
The Ioneer racist.
Oh my
man.
god! But it's true. Best Buy is selling A&E now, so that's big
Mhm,
news.
mhm.
So,
Yeah.
okay, I just want to finish off with this, and then we can move on to that.
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of chatter Okay, I've seen a lot of chatter, slandering. Obviously, we know that the Series S has been beat up this whole generation for the last 4 years. This is all I'm gonna
Unnecessarily,
say.
in my
This
opinion.
is this is all I'm gonna say. That
Hmm.
little box, I think, it's a tech. It's magic. All right, what they were able
Yes.
to put in there for $300.
Hmm.
And I'll put it to you like this as well. I think that if the Series S did not exist, Xbox will be doing even worse in hardware. That's just my opinion.
Absolutely. I think they know that.
Eh,
100%.
Way
Yeah.
worse in hardware. I think that it would be a bloodbath
Yeah.
completely. So, okay, let's move on to what MJ Dark brought up.
Yeah.
Hey man,
I'll
that's
I'll post it right here. As you
that's
can
big
see,
news.
ladies and gentlemen, it's the Ionia racist, and if you don't know why I call it that, you'll figure that out.
Uh,
Now, before you jump for joy, right? I think this is it's an interesting place we find ourselves. True,
mhm.
but the price is ridiculous.
They
Like,
went with their
this
flagship.
costs more than the Ally X, and
Yeah,
that's nuts.
because
Now,
they decided to go,
mhm,
I guess, with their premium device, which this is
mhm,
supposed to be kind of like their luxury device. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
yes.
very interesting
But
choice
at the
here.
end of the day, though, luxury or no, the speeds and feeds speak for themselves.
Hmm.
You're selling a 7840U, which is an older chipset at this point, not even the 8840U. You're selling the 7840U, right? Right. You're selling the 780M, which is on in every single.
Hmm.
Look, budget friendly, basic gaming, ideal for casuals, right? And 16 gigs of RAM. What is this? This is literally the original ROG Ally,
Yep.
right? That's what this is. Yeah, the chipset's a little bit better, but how? But not that much better, right? And yes, Game Tech Talk says it exactly. How luxurious with 16 gigs of RAM? You know what I mean? Like,
Is not wrong.
and there's nothing wrong with this device, right? I hear the screen is nice and beautiful. It's
Oh,
got an 8-inch
they
screen.
could have done better with the name, but go ahead.
Yes, they definitely could have. If I'm not mistaken, this is also one of those that had one of the biggest batteries out there. Yeah, 75 milliwatt hour
Yeah, it
battery
did. Yep.
before the Ally X came and upended that, right? The screen is 60 hertz, sure, but still at the end of the day, you're like, it's a decent device, but at $999,
And that's
you
because
must
it's
be
getting a
smoking
price
something.
drop. No, no, no.
Yeah,
The real
yeah,
price is
it's
1,200.
1,200 bucks.
That's the
Yeah,
real
you have to be
price.
smoking something. That's
Yeah.
redonkulous that you're
Right.
selling this, because you can literally go into Best Buy and do a comparison, right? You can find the Legion Go, right? You can find a few other devices that are the original Ally for $499, right? And even this price is hopped up because you can find this even cheaper now, the original Ally, right?
Right.
Compared to the $999, like that's just a little bit. That's a
Yeah,
little
I
bit
think
beyond the pale. I don't know.
what I think, and I'm just guessing here. I think that what they tried to do, okay, was kind
Mhm.
of overcompensate, kind of in trying to offer what they consider their premium
Mhm.
console handheld of choice, I guess you can say. Oof. Yeah, that's all I can say. Oof.
The
Okay.
racist.
So
Let's continue.
so
Yes.
so they decided, probably because they know that people are going to come in, they're going to get the ergonomics, they're going to see
Yeah.
how the device feels. And for the most part, a lot of people have seen that the screen is very impressive on it, that the
Hmm.
ergonomics on it are very impressive. But when you're already, like, if this would have came out and you were competing head to head like last year, I understand that. But now we're
Yeah.
kind of now evolving to a stage where it's getting to a point now where, like, the MSIs of the world are in
Hmm.
grave danger. The Zotecs of the world
Yeah.
bringing
Yeah.
out your
Yeah.
devices are
Hmm.
are you're already like
Yeah.
Asus and Lenovo like planted that flag early enough to say, hey, we're here. We want to take this serious. We're going to bring out these devices that were kind of okay in price range for the time. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And now
Hmm.
if you come in at a ridiculous price, and especially lower spec, you're gonna stand out from the pack where it's like, what are you doing? And that's the problem here. While I am glad that Best Buy is picking up more handhelds, and
Yeah.
that now they are, hopefully this opens a door for them to be able to offer all of their products in Best Buy, I kind of have to question this first one being the choice that they went with.
At this point, if like the only claim to fame they have is the battery, and even that claim to fame they have can be beaten by the Ally X for cheaper price. This is
Yep.
the only claim to fame they have. 75
Yep.
milliwatt versus 80. Everything else, all these other devices one up them. I would say if battery is not your concern and you want something interesting, get the original Ally. Heck, get the Ally X. Heck, get the Legion Go because it's got the same big screen, right?
Yeah.
This may just be a dip in the toe to see, hey, how do these devices conform to, you know, the standard of walk into the door and buy it, you know, and pick it up and get out of here kind of a thing, right? Like, I think it's great.
According
Like
to
in
MJ
this,
Dark,
I do.
it can hit 54 TDP on battery.
Yeah. Yes, it can. It can hit 50. Like
mean-
it is because, you know, they're throwing kitchen sink at this thing, right? Which
But,
anything over 20 is diminishing returns, and they're hitting you with the 54.
I mean,
Although the plus of that is if you find yourself a good dock, you crank that thing to 54, you have a really cool upscaling beast that you can plug into your television, right?
that's true.
But then again, you're also 7080M. How much you really going to do unless you're eGPUing it? It's a bunch of weird decisions they've made here. But let's not stick to the hate, right? It's great that they're doing this because just like when the ROG Ally X came out and I'm like, yo, you guys could have made better decisions with the CPU. You guys could have made better decisions with the RAM, but guess what? They did a great job with the battery. And now we're seeing newer devices come out and they say, oh, we're making an 80 milliwatt hour battery too. They have set a standard that others are now following.
Right.
That's a plus. In that same way, I say this is good that Aya Neo now has devices that are at Best Buy where people can just walk in and have a Best Buy warranty and not have to worry about sending it back to China if there's a problem, right? Hopefully, my One X player and a few other devices that have been moving and shaking in the background get the same benefit as well, right? This is a dip in the toe. It is what it is. Yeah. So I hear you there, basic casual gamer. I call it the Aya Neo racist for a reason. It is what
It's not. It's definitely not Sweet Baby approved. So as you can see there, they are.
Well done, sir. Well done.
They are also selling. They
Mhm.
do have one more device that they're offering. If you go to the
Yeah.
left there,
Hold
is
on, let me
which
go
is the
back.
$400.
Which is another oddity.
Yeah,
It's another oddity.
which
Yes.
is this is fine for like an indie
Mhm.
piece of hardware here, but I will tell you this. This is something that I am glad that they are offering this, right? At
Mhm.
$400, even though that we'll laugh at it or whatever because of specs or whatever, it's good that there's something in that price range there, because what that's going to do for us as consumers, if this sells well enough, right? If this sells well enough for them, that's going to keep the Asuses of the world, the Lenovo's of the world from seeing those results and saying, wait a minute, we can't go too much up here, because now that there's more competition in the space and more devices, we kind of have to check ourselves. And I'm not saying that they're taking it serious right now. I'm saying it's potential. Every single device. I'm going to tell you the one that we need Best Buy to carry. We need them to carry the Steam Deck. That's the one that's going to keep everybody on check.
Exactly.
That's
exactly. But that's it, right? And because of that, I even find this ridiculous because yes, you see, Lucius already got there. He already got Vega 8 graphics. This is a problem. This is the Windows 8 problem all over again, right? You're basically selling somebody a cheap device, right, with terrible specs. Now, when it doesn't play any of those games that you expect to play at all, right? When you're trying to load
Horrible
Cyberpunk and it's
experience.
like what? Now you're gonna have a bad taste in your mouth and be like,
you better get a GeForce Now subscription with this device.
Yeah, this should at least have a 780 a 780M GPU attached to it. But since it doesn't, like, I agree with you on the pricing. I think it should be even cheaper because it really should not stand. This should not stand toe to toe with the Ally or the Steam Deck, because it doesn't.
The one that needs to come in here to kind of set the market straight, in my opinion, needs to be the Steam Deck. Once it does that, and
Sure.
I know GameStop carries the Steam Deck, and I don't know if they have an exclusive deal with them or whatever the case
Yeah.
may be, but
Yeah.
we need
Yeah.
Best Buy to get the Steam Deck in action here, because at the prices that the Steam Deck comes in, it keeps everybody else in check. And
Yep.
that's kind of what
Yep.
we need. You know, we
Yep.
need that in
But
this space.
again, this is all a net positive, because now there are potentials that when you walk into your local Best Buy, you will see different handhelds available to you that you can then
Right.
choose from, right?
Yeah,
And
just that
hopefully
name is
you have,
just, man.
yeah,
Dude, come
hopefully
on.
when you go there, you will have someone with you, or you'll listen to our show, so we can be like, stay away from the Ionia racists, you
Can you
know.
imagine you walk in? Yeah, let me get a high neo racist there. Like, well, excuse me?
Excuse me, what? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, the Ionia racist, you know. I
Oh
heard
yeah,
that on
yeah.
just on the Gamers
We
Playground,
haven't
Ionia racist.
we haven't even sold one of those. You'll be our first customer, sure. So
The
yeah.
Ionia racist, that's right.
So okay, let me move on to the last
Yes.
point here that I have with you, because we're coming up on an hour and a half, and it's
Yep.
almost up on time here.
No
So
worries.
we where are you as far as what are you excited for, man, for like the
Mhm.
rest of the year that's launching here? Because what do we got for the rest of the year that maybe you saw at Gamescom? I know we got Indiana Jones. I know
Mhm.
that we have some stuff coming up now in September. We have the Astrobot, which, by the way, me
Bro, I'm
we're having
excited.
this me too. I have it pre-ordered, but we're having this
Yeah.
conversation, and we had this conversation one time on our Discord, which if you guys
Mhm.
haven't joined, you should do so. I still am a firm believer that Astrobot is not gonna outsell Ratchet and Clank. I think it's gonna sell as well or right below Ratchet and Clank. And I see the a lot of the Twitter bubble that we're in hyping this thing up to be the next coming of Mario. While I think that the game looks amazing, I have it pre-ordered. I don't know if this is going to move numbers the way that people are making it seem. And I have my reasons for that, and I'll tell you. Number one, this is a game that was a PSVR 1 game. That's how it
Mhm.
started, okay?
Yes.
So very little people got their hands on that game to begin with.
True.
Number two, when the Astrobot game is released on PlayStation, that's free for everybody when they
Mhm.
buy their PS5s. It's a free game, free 99. You paid
Yeah.
zero for it. That doesn't mean that the game is bad. It's an amazing, it's an amazing little game on its own, but it's free 99. Now PlayStation wants people to pay Astrobot
Mhm.
$60 for Astrobot. They're charging people for money. How many people are going to turn up for it now?
See, you know what? I actually think that last part is why I think people are going to buy in. I agree with you that it being a PSVR game was limiting and not many people got their hands on it. No doubt. I get you on that. I kind of feel like it was a shrewd move of them adding it to the PlayStation 5, because much like how Nintendo added what was it, the Wii Sports into the
Yeah,
controller, it
yeah,
became such a thing. That game, Astro's Playroom, was phenomenal. Like, it was
it was great.
exactly
One of the best games on PS5.
phenomenal, right?
Yep,
And I think that had you asked people to pay from jump, they would have been like, "What is this thing? I don't need this."
I
But
agree.
now, today, that you know what what Astro's playroom actually is, which it was a demo, it was a small little thing, and now they're really giving you the full game. You already know what it is because you already bought in,
I,
because you've
I
already
don't
enjoyed the hell out of
I
Astros.
don't see it,
I
Kay.
now let me be clear. Let me be clear. I'm not saying that you are wrong. I'm not saying that you are wrong. Why? Because Ratchet and Clank was billed as this next coming of, look at how the generation will
Yep.
look at all the graphical fidelity. Da, da, da. So in the hardcore space, Ratchet and Clank would move units because, oh, we want to see the ray tracing and the fidelity and all of this stuff that they promised, right? But in general, like if I use my kids as a barometer, they still want to play the robot game. They're always
They
trying to
know
ask
who
for that robot
Astrobot
game.
is? I'm shocked.
Yes.
I'm
Yes,
shocked
you
by
know,
that.
and they don't even know him as Astrobot, but it's the only thing they play on the PS5. Those controllers are terrible for kids' hands. Like
Yeah,
they're
they are.
terrible. My 5 and 7 year old ain't playing that, but they'll play the robot game, right? What I guess what I'm trying to tell you is the game is better than it has any right to be, and because of that, people who remember the robot game fondly will want to. I would gladly pay money for Astrobot because what they gave you on the PS5 was phenomenal. It was Nintendo
What do you,
levels of
but
creativity.
but let me ask you this question. Let me
Mhm.
ask you this question, right? Again, this is not me knocking the quality of the product. I think the game is going
Mhm.
to be phenomenal. I think it's going to be one of the best platformers of the year, or if not,
Sure.
a contender for the generation. It looks
Mhm.
certainly looks that way, right? But
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is that Sackboy, who has been around since the PS3 generation and
Yeah.
has garnered the love of the hardcore PlayStation Nation
Yep.
and some of the casuals too, because hey, some people are like, hey, that Sackboy looks funny, he looks cute, whatever the
Mhm.
case may
Mhm.
be.
Mhm.
PlayStation spent a very long time
I
cultivating
have
that
I have a
character.
rebuttal for you. Go
Okay,
ahead.
but
Make your
but
statement.
and I know the name's a little funky, Sackboy. You know what I'm saying? Which I've always thought was weird. Okay, and
Big
he is a little, and
big
he is a
sack
little,
boy. Big
yeah,
sack boy.
and
That's
he
what they
is a
call
little fuzzy
him.
too. Okay, but all I'm saying
uh-huh.
is that that game didn't
Uh-huh.
do move numbers
But
like that,
have you
and
played that game?
Astrobot is.
Have you played that game? The
Yes,
most
I love
recent
it.
one. Have you played it?
Yes, I like it.
It's not on the level of Sackboy. It's not on the level of Astrobot.
But it's
The
good
the the
though.
the the platforming is not as tight. Like it's not like remember, Sackboy is a holdover from a different game that they've stopped making, right?
Mhm.
That game originally was going to be the Minecraft competitor where you can make your own games in it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what it was there for. And when that idea didn't work out, they kind of tried to make Sackboy a mascot like character. Yeah, I know we keep
I
saying
just can't
Sackboy.
hear you say the name. It's
No,
serious.
I like calling him Big Sackboy. Big Sackboy.
Big
No,
Sackboy. It's kind of
anyway.
like that game that came out that I just couldn't play with a straight the gunk. I couldn't play
Uh-huh.
that game
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
straight face because I you kept on
Okay.
sucking up the gunk.
Yes. Stop. But hear me. There's a difference between that Astro's Playroom and the Sackboy franchise because they came to the Astro's Playroom came with like such creativity and imagination, so much so that it has garnered interest even though they haven't marketed it as such. Whereas
Okay.
the other games, they came huge to try and compete with Minecraft. It didn't work, right? The character was cute. They're able to make platformers, and let's be clear, those platformers are good, but they're not at the level of Astro's Playroom. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna put a pin in this one because
Yeah.
you could very well be right, and if you are, I will tip the cap.
My
But I have a
barometer is
feeling
Ratchet.
that it's gonna
It's
win.
not it, and I hope for PlayStation's sake it does because they after coming
Mm,
off of this Concord debacle, which is the
mm.
biggest bust of this generation of maybe of all time. Okay, we're reaching ET levels here with that game. I want to say that they need a winner. They need a home run with Astro. So I hope for the business sake they do really well with it. But for me personally,
See,
I
if
just
you
don't see it.
if you use
I
the
don't
barometer
see
of
it.
me, who the last time PlayStation got any money from me beyond my PlayStation Plus subscription, the last time they actually got money from me was Spider-Man 2.
There you
It's
go.
been that long, right?
So they got you.
They're gonna get money from me for this.
Yeah, they
Right?
got mine already.
Because I myself want to play the game, and the kids would love another crack at
Okay.
Big Sack Boy at Astro's Playroom.
At
But
least teach
you
them.
know what I'm saying? Like
At least teach them the a robot's name, because that's the thing. Nobody knows who this character is, and
yeah,
that's the point
yeah.
I'm trying to make. What I'm trying to say is that people act on Twitter like if this character is as well known as Mario. Nobody knows who
But
Astrobot
you
is.
do need to remember though, right? You are the hardcore talking to the hardcore. So I have a feeling that the conversation will be skewed in one way or another. I think the casuals will determine this.
Yes.
And honestly, for me, since PlayStation is the market leader, right? And there are a lot. And I got a chance to over the weekend. I met a nice young man, 11-year-old man by the name of Dexter, big PlayStation player, talking to me about all the great games that he loves.
Did he have red hair? Did he bring you donuts?
No. This is
Oh,
not that
okay.
Dexter.
Not that Dexter.
Great
Okay,
show,
'cause
by the way.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
this is this is another fine gentleman that I met. Really cool little kid, and he basically was telling me about the games he plays and how much he loves his games and all of this, because he found out that I talk games and I have a gaming show and all of this, and we were chatting, and he is a PlayStation kid, and obviously he'll be playing. He's so super excited for Astros, right?
He knew who Astros.
A lot of the
Okay.
yes, absolutely. Because remember, if you're a PlayStation 5 owner, you already have the game. You've already played it before.
And
right?
that's the X factor here. That
Yeah.
is the X factor here in this equation.
Yeah.
I will give you that.
Remember, every PlayStation 5 purchase is an Astros owner. Doesn't mean you played it, but you got one, right? So they all know of what this thing is. Now the question is, will this go to PS4? I'm not sure.
No, I don't think so. No,
see, that's the determining factor.
No.
I honestly think if it went to PS4, that's where it would crush. Crush.
Yeah, but they're in that transition stage where they're trying to incentivize those PS4
people to buy
owners
the PS5.
to buy the PS5. So I kind of get it. So we got one more thing, Kay, to go over, and then we'll get out of here. And it comes from Game Tech Talk. Are we talking about the heat dissipation system? I don't know what he's talking about, Kay, but I will say, Game Tech Talk, we got to get you on the show, man. This is
I'm gonna be reaching out to him in the background, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna reach out to him in the background. I have reached out to him before. Been wanting to have him on. I was going on some things. He was going on some things. We're now back. So 100%, brother. You'll be getting a communication from me. We're gonna have you on our shows because it'd be great to talk tech with you on the show. Great reviewer in his own right.
I've seen a bunch of his reviews.
Right click his name right now in that chat and go and subscribe to his stuff. He's amazing.
You want to know something? This is this is an upgrade I've had since we last spoke. I actually am gaming on a controller that he reviewed in his review.
Oh, excellent.
Told me on it, and it's the Fly Digi 4. Okay. The Fly Digi, I think it's the Apex 4 or something like that. And his review was fantastic, and I will tell you, this thing is a mix. Check this out, Kay. This is a mix between an Xbox controller and a DualSense controller. Why? Because the shape of it is literally like an Xbox controller, but you get the haptic on the triggers and stuff like that. Yeah. And let me tell you, man, playing
now,
through
is it inline or is it inline or is it like offset?
No, it's offset sticks like that. It's literally if you look at it, you're like, okay, that's an Xbox controller, but it has the dual sense triggers and all that, the rumble.
Cool.
It's really, really good. And
awesome.
He kind of sold me.
I love his reviews. His controller reviews are amazing. I caught wind of his stuff when he did his X1 review, and I've been watching his stuff ever since. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we got to get him on. So we don't know, brother, which heat dissipation system it is that you're.
Be a bit elaborate a little bit. Let's see what we're talking about here. Yeah.
But Kay, with that said, man, we'll get him on so that we can kind of maybe address that and some other stuff that comes up during the week. What are you gonna be playing this week, man? And what are the shows are you gonna be coming up on?
Sir, it's funny. it's quite funny. I should be playing a bunch of stuff. As you know, shout out to the Grazers among us. I'm always playing 15 different things, right? I just am. And I should be playing more stuff, but I have this game, this demo, Jordan Slayer, Hordes of Hell, and I can't stop playing it. It's very good. I will be most likely, I would be most likely trying to play. Oh yes. Of course.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we can. Kay can fill you in. We can fill you in on it. Just the name is a little weird.
Yeah, so I would Google that name, forget the name, the I and Neo part, and just Google the other name. It's not spelled the same, but it sounds the same, and it's just not cool.
Let me just mute my mic.
So the reason why we're doing this is because this device, as you know, sir, has been out for a while, right? And it's called like the Big Sur in other locations. Like it's called different things in different regions, right? and the fact that it sounds like a certain word in the States, right? We were like, this is ridiculous. And we had some folks, some great people that we debate with, was saying, hey man, they don't know that, right?
It has a
IMU company
different
doesn't
meaning.
know that.
Yeah, it has a different meaning.
Yeah, it has a different meaning.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
oh, by the way, they're not selling it to Americans. They're selling it on their website. So you
Anyone
can't expect
can.
all that.
Yeah.
And now it's at Best Buy. So they could have called it something else, and it still sounds like the way it sounds. So I'm gonna call it the Ionia Racist, and you'll find out why I'm calling it the Ionia Racist when you Google it. But yes, if you want, we can talk about it in the DMs. But yes, I call it the Ionia Racist. I would have bought it because until recently, those specs were interesting to me. But the fact it was called the Ionia Racist kind of like threw me off a little bit.
Yes. That's not the official name of it, but it is a little weird.
To me, it is.
They should have maybe said, "Hey, maybe we shouldn't
call it something else in the States."
Yeah, just
but it's fine. It's fine. I will continue calling it the Ionia Racist. It is what it is. It's fine. But yes, to answer your question, you were asking what I will be playing. I have been like I said, I've been on this demo that I got a chance to check out during Gamescom, and I really was in love with this thing. Let me share a bit of quick footage for it. It's not mine, but I'll share quick footage for it. It's basically, as I said, it's Vampire Survivor, but Diablo 4 skin.
Oh, that looks amazing.
Diablo 4 playstyle, games, element.
Yep,
yes,
I see what you mean.
And the more you play it, the more intricate it gets, the heavier it gets, the more intense it gets. I put a little bit of footage out. It's just a demo, but I've played it 18 times. It's freaking awesome. I'll probably play some more of it because it's simple, but it gets.
Did you discover this at Gamescom?
Yes, I actually had an appointment with the developer, and I came and I came there, and he spoke to me about it, and we talked about it, and it's just, I was floored by how good it is. I'm actually still talking with the developer. Hopefully, I'll have them on the on the channel at some point sooner rather than later to talk more about it. But yes, I love this game. I think more people should be playing it. It's on a demo right now. Jotun Slayer, Hordes of Hell. It's on Steam right now. You can just give it a shot. And the demo is actually pretty intricate. It doesn't give you the whole game, but you can play through a lot of the game, and it's quite good. So I would think I would recommend people check it out. This is what I'll be playing probably most of the week. I'm still kind of going through piece by piece through Black Myth Wukong. I'm kind of hate playing that game. It's not that I hate it, but like I told you already, I don't like when a game takes away.
What's going on with the game? Because it's not. I'm not saying that
you
I
spend
kind of
a lot of time. You spend a lot of time jumping around trying to avoid being damaged, right? You don't have that I can stand toe to toe with the best of them energy, at least not at the beginning, right? Okay. And like I told you, I'm more that action style game where if you have the tools, you can stand toe to toe with anybody kind of thing. And at the beginning of that game, they show you what you will eventually become. They show you having a fight with the gods and all of this, pretty awesome. Okay. But then when they put the game in your hands and you're playing it yourself, you're climbing the ranks.
Let me give you some advice.
So,
Let me give you some advice. Instead of fighting it, right, and instead of fighting to like it, use the tools that we have. We mod to make it right. And I'm not saying, I'm not saying to just put everything on easy and crank your damage to 100. Just make it in that sweet spot where you're getting
where you're feeling what you want. Yeah.
That's all you gotta do, brother. That's
all you are not wrong.
So that you can make it.
You are not wrong.
Yep. You're the one that paid the $60 for it. Make it an enjoyable experience for yourself.
Not a problem. Yeah, not a problem. And finally, actually, I should mention one last game, and I'll just mention it and we'll get out of here. Starship Troopers, Extermination.
Yeah, I heard you talk about that.
I'm not a guy who likes multiplayer. I don't tend to be a multiplayer guy, but this is really fun. I love the crafting and all this. It's a first-person shooter.
Okay.
Let's be reductive and call it exactly like Helldivers 2.
We got
what's going on, Mr. Boomstick?
What's up,
going on, sir? I look forward to being on your show tomorrow night, on Wednesday night. We will be there.
We'll hit you up on Concord a little later, man.
Stop it. So yes, if you haven't tried it yet, try Starship Troopers. I think it's really fun. I initially thought it was a derivative of what Helldivers 2 was doing. It does more. right? It does
Really?
different things than Helldivers. Yeah, the crafting elements are really cool. I really enjoy them. I think it's pretty awesome, and you can play with a bunch of friends, so
Yeah.
it's really fun.
And it's
I think
and
more people
it's
should play it.
and here's the thing. Here's the cool thing about that. It's the actual IP of
Yes,
Starship Troopers. So
yes, it's actually really Starship Troopers. So if you're a fan
yeah,
of that IP, it really speaks to it. I think they're planning on putting voice actors from the actual movie into it.
that's
I
pretty cool.
really like the team building, build together, build fortifications,
Yeah.
aspects of it. I think it's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
that's cool.
So
Well,
that's what I'll be
for
playing.
me, that's good. And about the shows, I'm assuming you're going to be on Prime Time Gaming on Wednesdays
Tomorrow
with
night, man, I'll
the
be there
Boom
tomorrow night.
himself, who is joining
Indeed,
us here.
indeed. Yep, indeed I
Okay.
will. And then of course GCP will be on deck with the returning of Everborn Saga on Saturday, which we'll talk to some people in the background. Maybe we'll have an interesting guest. We'll see what happens. Yes.
There you go. And we're gonna definitely work on getting Game Tech Talk on the show with us, so that
Yeah,
we can definitely
absolutely.
hear about his channel and and his gaming history and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
just talk news. Okay, me myself, I'll be playing probably through Neo 1. I already beat Neo
Hmm.
2. Neo 1,
Hmm. You're going
man,
backwards. You started with 2 first. Now you're going to
yeah,
1.
yeah, that was a recommendation from MJ Dark, and you know what? I'm kind of glad
Okay.
I did
Okay.
that because
Excellent.
I feel very familiarized with the game. I think that Team Ninja, their combat, like I said, is bar none the best that you're gonna get in any of these Souls like games
Hmm.
to make you
Hmm.
feel cool and like a badass. And
Hmm.
all the weapons feel really unique in that game. And I'm really digging the game. I really like the kind of like the world that they kind of built there in feudal Japan. And
Yeah.
then after that, I'm actually gonna go move on to Wo Long. Okay, it's a game that I
Okay.
started but I never
Yeah.
beat because I'm telling you, I'm on
Yeah.
a Team Ninja kind of buzz right now. All right, and
Sure. Sure.
I'm kind of in that mood right now. So
Okay.
after that, I'll move on to Wolong, and then we'll see if maybe I was thinking about what's that other game that EA worked on that it's kind of like the Capcom one, Monster Hunter that
Oh, Monster
Koei
Hunter
Tecmo
Wild.
did. No, but that
Oh,
Koei Tecmo
the
did, Wild
variation of it.
Hearts or
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
like
Wild
that.
Hearts. Yeah, 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 yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
give that a try
Hmm.
because they also have some influence from Team Ninja, Koei Tecmo in there. I really, really like their game style. I'm gonna check that out. I'm not saying I'm gonna deep dive in it. It caught
Okay.
my attention, and yeah,
Cool.
man. And then just wait for
Report back, man. Let's know. Let us
yeah,
know. I hear there's a crush of games coming this September, so
yeah,
we want to hear
and
from you. Yeah.
definitely holding off for Assassin's Creed Shadows that I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
playing that. That looks really, really amazing.
Yep.
I can't
Yep.
wait for that. So yeah, okay. Until next time, you guys hit us up on Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, not Nintendo. We're not gonna get on there, but you know what I'm saying. So hit
We
us
ain't
up.
giving you our social security number. It's
Yeah,
fine.
and I protect my identity. So guys, until next time, this has been episode 47. We're getting close to episode 50. Next week, Kay, you're
Yep.
on hosting duties.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I hope everyone in the chat
Absolutely.
was entertained today. It's nice to be back, and it's nice to have a chat with you again, man. Until next week.
Indeed, indeed. Have a good one. Peace.
Peace.